Good evening, everyone. We want to call the November 9th, 2022 East Greenbush Central School District Board of Education meeting to order. Attendance this evening, all board members present except for Mr. Dunn. Are we all set, logged in? All right. So if you could please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. First on the agenda is our student council representatives from Columbia. I see Emma and Ron are here. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Throughout the last week of October, Student Council sold t-shirts from previous years to support breast cancer research, and we were able to raise over $1,100. Last week, we hosted our annual blood drive. We had 45 successful donations, which qualified us for the first part of our scholarship from the Red Cross.
Lastly, on our agenda today, since our busiest season has come to an end, we have now started to think about the holiday season. On November 30th, we are having our annual holiday decorating, and on December 3rd, we will be participating in the annual bell ringing outside Walmart, and all donations will go to the Salvation Army. Student Council plans to do many fundraisers throughout the month of December to spread the holiday cheer. And that's all we have for you today. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Have a great night. Next, we'll move to the minutes. We have two draft minutes for approval. Carryover, one was a carryover from our last meeting. For that meeting, I have that Kathleen, Michelle, and Joanne were not present on the October 12th meeting. We still have enough folks to vote on that, so any change or revisions to the minutes for October 12th? Seeing none, any motion to approve that? Mark, second. Emily, all those in favor? Yep, Jennifer. All those abstaining? Approved. Thank you very much. Going to the next item is the draft minutes for October 26th. I have that John, Cheryl, and Jennifer were not present. So any comments or revisions to the minutes for October 26th? Nope. Seeing none, any motion to approve that? Michelle, second. Kathleen, all those in favor? All those abstaining? Approved. Now we'll move to our board forum. Opportunity for our board members to speak on any issues that they would like to. So I'll start on my right with Emily. Joanne?
I do want to congratulate the boys and girls soccer
absolutely.
teams for having great seasons. It was very exciting to watch.
Excellent. Thank you. Jennifer? Mark's good. Michelle? And Cheryl?
We'll have to start on that side. Next time.
I just want to say, this Friday is Veterans Day, and I just want to thank our veterans and service folks and their families for what they do and the service they provide. Mr. Mann is obviously a member of the Armed Forces, and we want to thank everyone. Like I said, and this area is a very big supporter of our veterans, and glad to be able to mention that for our service folks. So. Next, we'll move to our public forum. Residents, students, employees, and business representatives of the East Greenbush Central School District may address the board on matters concerning programs and/or operations of the district, other than matters involving personnel. Members of the board do not directly respond to citizen concerns in the public forum. If a response is appropriate, either the president or superintendent will contact the individual in the near future. Those persons wishing to address the board will be recognized by the chair of the meeting and should state for the record their name, address, or affiliation with the district or business. While the board does not wish to infringe upon free speech protections, it must be stressed that the visitors forum is not deemed to be an open forum. The board president will conduct the forum for the orderly and efficient operation of board business. In addition, any remarks will be considered defamatory or stigmatizing are prohibited and will be declared out of order. All comments shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone who'd like to address the board this time? No? Okay. We'll move on to our next item, which is the reports and presentations of the superintendent of schools.
Yes, I would like to invite at this time Mark Adam, who is our public information specialist, to come forward to present the new tool that we've been using for unified communication with our parents, with our faculty and staff, and with our community. Mr. Adam brought this idea forward last year. He worked with Mr. Goodwin, our Director of Technology, and administrators to educate us regarding this program and how it might help our communication. And he's here this evening to present to the board how it's going.
Very good.
So I will be presenting some slides just to give you a little sense of ParentSquare, how we use it, and how it's going so far. But we're going to start by playing just a brief 2-minute video that describes the platform.
Congratulations! If you are watching this video, it means that your school is using ParentSquare. You may be asking yourself, what is ParentSquare? ParentSquare is a safe, secure, and modern approach to communication and collaboration between school and home. It is a central hub for all district, school, grade level, class, and group notifications about your children. Better still, school communication comes right to your fingertips in a way that is convenient to you, whether it be email, text, or app notification. You will also receive text or voice calls for urgent alerts and reminders. You should have received an invitation from ParentSquare via email or text asking you to activate your account. You can also request another activation invitation with the email or phone number that you provided to your child's school at parentsquare.com or on the app. If you don't remember the information on file at your child's school, please fill out your Join Your School form to send a request to your child's school to add you to ParentSquare today. ParentSquare also has easy-to-use apps for iOS and Android phones that can be downloaded from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Once logged in, you'll see your custom ParentSquare feed. This page shows all information related to your children, including any school-wide, grade level, class, or group-specific information. No more need to search through emails, schools, or multiple websites to find important information. Prefer text messages over email? No problem. From your account page, you can update your notification preferences so information is coming how and when you'd like it. Language settings can also be changed so information is coming in your preferred language. ParentSquare is great at increasing collaboration and helps you get involved in your school communities. You will automatically receive information from the school office and your kids' classes and any groups you or your kids belong to. You may also join a public group within the school. You can participate with just a click of a button. ParentSquare allows you to fill out a form quickly. No more handouts and permission slips lost at the bottom of backpacks. You can sign up to bring in an item or RSVP for an event. You can also comment on and appreciate a post. Please give these generously to show your school community support. Using ParentSquare, you can also chat directly with a teacher or staff member using our Messages feature. This keeps all communication in one place without the need of additional directories or email addresses. We also have a personalized calendar to keep you up to date with school events, and our photo library stores all photos that have been shared over the course of the year. Thank you for joining ParentSquare. Register your account, download the app, and start interacting with your school community today.
As we bring up the slides, I'm going to tell you a little bit about ParentSquare and how we're using it. ParentSquare is our new communication tool, and we launched ParentSquare as our new communication platform this year. So it unifies our communication between school and home. There's a mobile-friendly website, and then there's also an app, a free app for both Apple and Android that our parents and our staff members can use. ParentSquare replaces other services that we've had in the past. For example, School Messenger, which is how we used to send out our email and text notifications, Constant Contact, and other communication apps. Our contact data is uploaded directly from PowerSchool for our parents and students, and from WinCap for our employees. Importantly, ParentSquare is EdLaw 2D compliant, and it has translation to more than 100 languages. As I said, we launched this for this school year. So in August, we started training our staff, which included our administrators and instructional staff. We've also done some parent outreach. We informed our parents about this change at the end of June, and then again in August. We've sent flyers home. We have information posted on our website. And in September, I hosted a ParentSquare presentation, a virtual presentation, just to give some more information to our parents, answer questions, and help them use this platform. We use ParentSquare to send out our school alerts. So any mass communication that we send to staff and parents, this could be snow days, 2-hour delays, time-sensitive information that we need to send out. Communication can be sent via email, text, voice, or app notifications. And it allows teachers and administrators to post information on the platform, share news and events that's happening in their schools. ParentSquare offers two-way communication through messages, which is a one-to-one communication tool. So if a parent has a question for a teacher, or teacher wants to let a parent know what's going on, maybe with their child, they can have that one-on-one dialogue. And then parents can also comment on posts. And those are private comments. So if I were a parent in a class and I commented on a post, only the teacher who sent that post would see it. And then any replies to me from the teacher, only I would see those. All users, including our parents and staff, can choose how they receive their post notifications. So if I only want to have emails come through, I can choose that. Or if I just want text messages, I can make that choice. And then we also give a preference on whether you want your notifications to come through instantly as they're sent, or if you want a digest where all of that day's notifications are held and collected, and then you get one notification at around 6 o'clock at night. We also introduced automated attendance notifications for our parents. So attendance is automatically pulled from PowerSchool daily at 10:30 in the morning for all of our schools. And if a student is marked unexcused absent or unexcused tardy, their parent will get an email and a text notification to notify them. Parents also have the option, once they get that notification, to send an excuse note back to the school. So if my child had a dentist appointment in the morning, I get the notification at 10:30. I can say, Johnny had a dentist appointment, he'll be in at noon. And when that gets sent, it goes right to the attendance clerk. So our attendance clerks and the main offices love it. I was actually talking to them in advance of this meeting, and I think they really appreciate the automated component of this. And I think it's made it a lot easier even to reach some of our parents who are a little harder to get in contact with. So this just shows you what the platform looks like. On the left is the mobile or the website view. And then on the right, you can see the app view for both Apple and Android. At the bottom in the center is just a sample of what that attendance notification would look like. There's 3 ways to communicate in ParentSquare. Posts, which are good for communicating from a teacher to the parents in their class, or from a principal to all of the parents at their school if they're sending out a newsletter. Any information I send on behalf of the district, if we have upcoming events, we can do that through posts. Direct messages is what I was alluding to earlier. If a parent has a question for a teacher, they can have that one-on-one dialogue. And then alerts are only for administrators, and that's time-sensitive information. So an alert would be for a snow day or an emergency closing, a bus delay. If a bus is going to be 25 minutes late on an afternoon route, we can send an alert to just those parents on that bus route. And that's for that more time-sensitive information. And for our posts and our alerts, we can go in and check reports. We can see who's received it, who's opened it, who's clicked it, and that way we can see who we're reaching and who we're not reaching. This is a view of the website. So on the left, all of our users will see posts and messages. Our administrators will also see that alerts and notices. In the center is your main feed where your posts will come up, and then parents can interact with it. If it's an event like you see there, they can click on it and it easily adds it to their calendar. They can also appreciate posts, or they can comment on it. And then in the upper right is a view of their groups. So one of the main reasons we wanted to switch to ParentSquare was we have families with multiple children at multiple levels. And that could mean a teacher is using this platform, another teacher is using that platform. So we wanted to streamline it. And this way, if you have a child at Red Mill and a child at Goff, you can simply toggle between the two children and see what's going on in this student's classroom, what's going on at this school. We just want to make it as easy as possible for our parents to receive our communication and to also communicate back to us. All of our users have the option of selecting how and when they receive those posts. As I mentioned before, they can receive them instantly or digest. They can also turn them off. If you don't want text messages, notifications for your posts, you can turn it off. If you want everything, you can get that as well. And that is for posts. Any alerts, those time-sensitive communications, those come in real time. So they override any kind of setting that the user has selected. Here's just an update of where we're at early on in the school year. Approximately 66% of parents and 75% of staff have registered for ParentSquare. It's important to note all unregistered users still receive our notifications. They just can't interact with posts in the same way. So we've sent out permission slips at the high school for our bowling, for the PE unit. And this allowed parents to get a post and they could give permission with a digital signature for that activity. If you're unregistered, you wouldn't be able to sign that permission slip digitally, but you'd still get the notification that we have this opportunity. This is important because if we're sending an alert for an emergency or a snow day, everyone will still get those alerts. And then there's just a listing of our features usage. So this is district-wide. We've had 1,300 posts, 353 comments on those posts, 15,000 direct messages, and 78 alerts. And that information is as of a week ago today. So we're seeing a lot of usage in this platform, both on the parent side and the staff side. One thing I don't want to forget to do, I just want to say a thank you to Todd Witherell in data processing. None of this would have happened without his assistance. Every night, similar to School Messenger, we have a daily sync from PowerSchool to ParentSquare. So all that data comes in. If we get a new student that registers today, they're going to be in ParentSquare tomorrow. And the same thing for WinCap, any employees, that data is coming through. And so Todd was instrumental in setting that up. So does anyone have any questions about ParentSquare or how it works and how we're using it?
I like it a lot. I think a lot of positive feedback for it. It's nice to have one central location because sometimes we're still feeling like we're all confused. So if we can encourage everybody to go through that process and use this from the buildings, I think it'll just make it easier, for everybody. But it's beautiful, and I love the attachment that you can automatically fill out something and sign it. That's so convenient. You don't have to worry about printing it and signing it and sending it in. It was a lot easier.
Great. Yeah, I totally agree. I think, we're very early on in switching over to ParentSquare. Like anything, especially with technology, you're going to have people with different comfort levels. And I think as we're continuing to use it as a district, more and more people will be using it.
It's got a lot of benefits.
Mark, the Google Calendar that's on the website, how does that kind of interact with this product?
So the calendar on our website is integrated with ParentSquare.
Okay, good.
So if you're signed in as a parent, On the right side, if you're looking at the desktop view, you're going to see all of our district calendar events in the same way that you'd see on the website. But if, let's say, a teacher posted, they're having some event in the classroom and they're inviting parents in, and they attach it as an event in that post as an add-on, the parent can click on it and they can add that as well to their personal calendar.
Anybody
How
else?
many parent or guardian accounts are you allowed per student? Is there a limit?
So we pull in from PowerSchool, and therefore there's 2. But we have had instances where maybe there's a step parent or there's a grandparent who, you know, lives in the household or is more of a caregiver, and I can manually add those in. And
Great.
we've been doing that by request. Any other questions?
Just one last comment. We were at school boards recently and we did a kind of a branding communication presentation, and it was really talking about some of these communication tools and making sure that there was a lot of questions about how you get information out to parents and things like that, these alerts, but this system seems to do a really good job with those kinds of things. So,
Yeah, I think it's going great so far, and we've only scratched the surface. There's other things we can do at some point. I think we're going to be sending out report cards and other secured documents through this, but we're trying to walk before we run.
absolutely. It's great. It's a great tool. Thanks for the presentation. I know we talked about it, having something like this to just get familiar with, I still don't have children in the district anymore, and this would have been a great feature to have, but it's awesome that it's going that direction. I encourage all parents to register and be users of this technology. So excellent. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks to Todd for his work too. Okay, moving on, our next item, discussion item. So there was a request to table the summary of multi-year federal grants. Linda's little hoarse on her throat, so she has requested to move that. So we'll move that to our next meeting if that's okay with the board. And then we'll go to discussion item, capital project planning.
Yes, our district construction team is meeting every Wednesday now, weekly, to prepare information to present to the board regarding the building condition survey and some other reports. We're hoping that we can reserve portions of the December 21st meeting and limit some of the other routine items that we might be able to pass on until January. We're going to present some information from the required document, which is the building condition survey. Will include architectural, electrical, mechanical, and other instructional program improvements that we want to review. And I want to have the whole board receive this information and have an opportunity to ask questions and discuss it before we have another BRAC meeting. I think because of the nature of the work that we've been doing on the capital project, I think it's important for the board to see some of this information first. Additionally, Linda is preparing some financial analysis that is important in order to be able to determine where we might go with the overall scope of a project. That information will include a report on our current debt service schedule, projects that are scheduled to be paid off and retired from the past, debt that we're incurring now for the current 2017 capital project that is not yet complete, and also some information on how building aid is calculated within a school district, because we try to maximize reimbursement from the state. So it's a lot of important information. We're putting it together in detail, hoping that December 21st we'll be able to present it to you. We won't be asking the board to really vote on anything regarding this. It's just an exchange of information. We want to get some feedback from the board.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think because a lot of times we don't have the opportunity as a full board to get into some really in-depth discussions about this project planning. I know that with the work we're trying to finalize on our kind of future-driven, longer-term goals and annual goals, that how we can have those things really tied together. So if you're thinking about instructional space or infrastructure needs and some of the things we have to do to help support the buildings and what's happening, we'll have that information to make some good decisions about the future, because that'll be a multi-year project. And then the way things are being approved these days, it's probably.
Well, it will likely be a multi-year project not only because of the scope of the project, but some of the aid factors are going to play into timing.
Yeah.
And because we've already done large projects on some of the buildings, and so it may be a few years before we can actually get those projects online again, because there's some rules regarding
Absolutely.
aid that we're going to review.
Does that sound good for board members to have that kind of more in-depth discussion, set aside that time? Good. All right. Thanks, Jeff. Now moving on to our regular business. The first item is approval of programs for resident children with disabilities. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, need a motion to approve that. Joanne, need a second. Kathleen, all those in favor? Approved. We have an updated Town of EG SRO agreement. Any comments here, Mr. Simons?
Yes, the town of East Greenbush asked us, after we had already approved the agreement, we would consider fully funding the resource officer that is employed by the East Greenbush Police Department. And for many, many years prior to my time, the arrangement with the town was that the town would support 50% of the total costs of the SRO, and our district would support 50% of the cost. Jack Conway reached out and asked if we would consider paying 100%, in part because of the arrangement that we have with the sheriff's department, which is 100%, and also in consideration of some of the town's, financial needs. So we had a meeting with Jack and Colleen Lallier from his office, and we agreed to recommend to the board that for this current year, we would adjust the arrangement to pay for 75%, and then we would continue discussions moving forward. I happened to be at a suburban council meeting on Friday, and this seems to be a trend. The superintendents of some of the larger districts were also considering either requests from their contracted law enforcement agencies to increase the district's share of the cost, or we're trying to figure out ways to expand resource officers in working with their respective municipalities. So I would recommend that we go to 75%. There's still some questions about summer that we want to bring up to the town, but currently the district pays 50% of the total salaries and benefits of the officer. And this arrangement, the only change in this arrangement would be that we would pay 75% for this year.
And that'll be retroactive to.
Yes.
All right. Any questions on that? Need a motion to approve item B, the SRO. Mark, second. Nobody? Cheryl, all those in favor? Approved. Next two items are employment agreements. The first one is a resolution to amend the agreement with Ms. Wager, our Director of Business and Finance. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, need a motion to approve. Jennifer, second. Michelle, all those in favor? Approved. The next item is the amendment for the employment agreement of Ms. Cannon, our Director of HR. Any questions or comments on that? Seeing none, need a motion to approve that. Kathleen, second. Mark, all those in favor? Approved. Item E is a change order on phase 3.
We want to protect Mr. Grignon's beautiful new windows in his gym
Yes,
from
absolutely.
balls flying into them and breaking them. So this is a change order regarding interior guards that would go about 3/4 of the way up the window to protect the windows from breaking. They were not part of the original scope of the project.
No issues yet.
That's because no one's using the gym.
Good to hear.
Sometimes they get broken on, evenings and weekends and things like that when the community groups are using them. And sometimes in PE classes too.
Very good. All right. Any comments or questions on that item? Seeing none, need a motion to approve that. Kathleen, second. Jennifer, all those in favor? Approved. Next, we have an MOA with the SRP on sick day donations. Any questions or comments on this item? Need a motion to approve that. Joanne, need a second. Kathleen, all those in favor? Approved. And then we have a resolution to approve the establishment of the health teacher position to fill this vacancy. Any questions or comments?
Is there a big?
This is due to the arrangement we have for the additional health teacher on assignment. This enables a position of a current employee that is kind of split right now, part-time and to become full-time in accordance with tenure regulations.
So it's not hiring.
No, we're not hiring. We're just restructuring her position to be a full-time position.
Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, any motion to approve of that? Jennifer, second. Emily, all those in favor? Approved. All right, so we'll now move to our committee reports, a little bit different style this time. I was talking to Jeff a bit about how we would present this. So you see that in the items, we have the staffing report, and then Marissa can kind of hit the highlights if she wants to talk about anything of interest to the board or any questions for her on that staffing report.
Just the two main updates. We conducted final round interviews for the Director of People Personnel Services earlier this week, and we have identified a candidate for the Assistant Transportation Supervisor. That individual is currently working through the SBDI course certification, and we will be moving forward with a recommendation at a future board meeting.
Very good. Thank you, Marissa. Any questions or comments for Marissa? No? Okay. Thank you, Marissa. Linda, still skip. Okay. Roy, any comment? Okay. And Jeff, policy committee.
We have the minutes of the policy committee. The board met and we discussed working with the New York State School Boards Association Policy Service to do a compliance review to make sure that all of our policies are up to date. They will also provide us with recommendations for both required policies and also recommended policies for consideration. We also discussed how things were going with the policy that was passed a few years ago, which provides employees with an opportunity, employees who are non-residents, to have their children attend the school district. The procedures and the policies are going very well. We have about 7 students in the district, and we have not had any issues with costs or class sizes associated with the implementation of that policy.
Mhm.
We also discussed piloting an opportunity for community members to maybe use our track in the spring to walk. The policy committee thought that that was a good idea, as long as we put certain parameters in place. We do have a site supervisor in the evenings down there, and we also have security cameras that once weren't there. So we're going to try it on a limited basis, advertise the hours that it's available in the spring, and hopefully it will go smoothly and it won't have any issues, and the committee will appreciate being able to use that resource.
Sounds good. Okay. Any questions for Jeff on that? Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I know that was something that you see nice new track, you see nice new field. People ask, we have the walking trail, but we also have some, people want to do some loops. So I guess that's a good outcome for us. All right. Moving on. So that concludes our committee reports. Table motions. I don't have anything. All business board members, anything to bring to the table? No? Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda, items A through F. Any questions or comments on the consent agenda? No? Seeing none, I need to take those items, approve those items by consent. A motion for that? Joanne, I need a second. Michelle, those in favor? Approved. Thank you very much. We have an addendum on the agenda to accept the resignation of Ms. Barker. Thank you for your service to the district, Ms. Barker. And also the appointment for Mr. McHugh to fill that interim role as we do a search. Any questions or comments on that? Need a motion to approve? Jennifer, second. Kathleen, all those in favor? Approved. Moving on to new business. Board members, any new business that you want to bring forward at this time? Or for a future meeting? Okay. Now is it time for our second public forum. Anybody from the public? No comments? All right. And board forum, I'll start on my left with Cheryl. Cheryl. Yes.
It was October 2019. The school board meeting, seen a presentation on cameras on the stop arms. November of 2022, they're going to start to be installed. So, very, very happy with that. It took a lot of work. It's especially on the district's part, and working with Rensselaer County, which COVID came about, but it's finally gonna kick off here in a couple weeks, and East Greenbush is first on the install list. So I'm glad to see that's finally gonna happen. So
I think part of that is really the communication and prep for our community that this is coming.
Yep.
And it's important because I think those like automatic shoots things out, right? The
Yep.
cameras and
I'm assuming
So-
they'll do maybe work with the town
Yeah.
and do a joint press release.
Yes,
Um,
that's a good idea.
So, or we might have to work with the 3 different towns.
yeah.
So-
Right.
I think that's one thing that we have to do anyways, wasn't it?
Part of the
Yeah, it's part of,
Yeah, that you have to give
Educate.
notifications.
Yeah.
So, but I'm glad to see it's finally going to happen and move forward.
Yes.
So,
I want to thank Mark for his
Yes.
persistence and
thank you, Mark.
remember when we first saw
It's a
those
long
things
time.
and
Yes. The company's been sold a couple of times since then too. So, but we finally got happening. So thank you,
and to
everybody.
protect our safety of our students and our drivers.
Thank the county and everybody for seeing the importance of this and yeah, let's move forward.
Excellent. Very good. Jennifer?
No, I'm just glad to hear that, Mark. I heard from another parent this week that, they witnessed someone whiz by a bus that was stopped. So I'm glad it's finally happening.
Yes.
Thank you. Kathleen? Joanne? Emily? So Mark mentioned the stop arm cameras. One of the things that we went to recently in Syracuse was the school boards convention. It was the New York State School Boards puts on its annual convention this year. It was in Syracuse. And one of the benefits of really going to them is to get together as colleagues to some of our newer board members who had a chance to participate in a lot of events and sessions. Maybe we can talk about that in a future board meeting about some of the things that we went to, but also to see some of the different technologies and different things, vendors who come and have areas of school support. There was 2 or 3 electric buses, two electric buses. So we had a lot of questions from electric bus folks about cost and how those things operate and different areas of things that can help support the district, especially talking to folks around capital project planning and some needs out here. We had March Associates, of course, we talked to, and architects. Had a chance to talk to them and some others. And we also had a couple school districts that were local. Questar BOCES has a STEM high school and Tekla High School, and at both students came to that event. And I'm glad to see that of those students there, I think 2 from STEM high school were Greenbush students, and I think that 1 may have been from Greenbush high school. So we did ask that they maybe do a presentation to the board at some future board meeting to talk about those programs and some of the offerings that our kids are taking advantage of in the district. Greenbush. So excellent event. And I know Sarah went to the pre-law conference, and I hope you found it a good experience at the school boards. So, all right. Anyone else? Any final comments? Administrators? Okay. We do have need for an executive session for purposes of personnel and contractual matter. So I need a brief executive session for that. We don't expect to have any more business after that. So I want to thank everybody for coming this evening, and I need a motion to go into executive session. Mark, second. Michelle, all those in favor? All right. Have a great evening.